Many fear aging as a slow decline of memory, strength, and purpose. But what if growing older wasn't about fading away, but about growing sharper, stronger, and more fulfilled? In Buddhist wisdom, aging isn't a burden, it's an opportunity. The mind, when exercised, remains sharp. The body, when cared for, stays resilient. And the heart, when open, finds deeper joy. This journey isn't about resisting time, but embracing it, learning, moving, and living with purpose. The question isn't if we will age, but how we will do it. Will we wither, or will we thrive? The answer lies in our daily choices. Let's begin. Keeping the mind sharp, the foundation of a fulfilling life. Aging does not have to mean a decline in mental agility. One of the greatest challenges people face in their later years is cognitive stagnation, which can lead to forgetfulness, confusion, and even vulnerability to scams or poor decision-making. However, Buddhist teachings emphasize that the mind, like a muscle, must be exercised daily to remain strong. Meditation, the key to mental clarity. In Buddhism, meditation is not just a spiritual practice, but a tool for sharpening awareness. Regular meditation strengthens the ability to focus, process information, and remain emotionally balanced. Studies have shown that meditation reduces cognitive decline by increasing gray matter density, lowers stress levels, which improves overall brain function, enhances emotional regulation, allowing for better decision-making. Lifelong learning, a brain workout. Buddhism teaches that stagnation leads to suffering, and this applies to the mind as well. Learning new things is one of the best ways to combat cognitive aging. Activities like reading challenging books, philosophy, history, or classic literature, solving puzzles or playing strategy games, chess, Sudoku, or logic problems, learning a new language or musical instrument. These activities stimulate neuroplasticity, keeping the brain engaged and adaptable. Story: The monk who never forgot. There was an elderly Buddhist monk who could recite entire scriptures from memory even at the age of 90. When asked about his secret, he said, "Every day, I challenge my mind. I memorize one new teaching and reflect deeply on its meaning. The mind weakens only when left unused." This approach, deeply rooted in mindful practice and continuous learning, shows that mental sharpness is a choice. Treating the body as a temple. Physical health is equally as important as mental sharpness. Buddhism teaches that the body is the vehicle for spiritual and personal growth, and taking care of it is an act of self-respect. The power of movement. Yoga and Tai Chi, which originated from Eastern traditions, are excellent for flexibility, balance, and longevity. Walking daily not only strengthens muscles, but also provides mental clarity. A practice known as walking meditation. Strength training, even in old age, prevents frailty and boosts independence. Mindful eating, a Buddhist approach to nutrition. Buddhist monks follow a diet based on balance and mindfulness. They focus on whole, plant-based foods like vegetables, fruits, nuts, and grains, eating only until 80% full. Following the Japanese hara hachi biyu principle, avoiding excessive sugar, processed foods, and overeating, which burdens the body. Story: The 95-year-old Tai Chi master. In a small Chinese village, there lived a 95-year-old Tai Chi master. He still practiced every morning at sunrise. When asked how he remained so youthful, he simply said, "The body is like water. If it flows, it stays fresh. If it stops, it stagnates." This wisdom reflects the core Buddhist principle of impermanence and movement. Life should never be static. Finding joy through hobbies. Aging does not mean giving up passions. It's the perfect time to rediscover old ones or cultivate new ones. Buddhism teaches that joy comes from within, not from external achievements. Engaging in hobbies creates a sense of purpose, mindfulness, and deep fulfillment. Hobbies as a form of meditation. Painting, music, and writing encourage deep focus. Similar to meditation, gardening is a powerful connection to nature and impermanence. Crafting and woodworking develop patience, attention to detail, and a sense of accomplishment. Social hobbies for connection. Joining community clubs or spiritual study groups provides interaction and mental engagement. Participating in charity or volunteering creates a sense of purpose and contribution. Story: The Monk and the Pottery Wheel. A retired monk took up pottery in his 70s. People asked why, and he said, "Shaping clay is like shaping the mind. The more mindful you are, the more beautiful it becomes." His pots became a form of meditation in action, showing that creativity is not just self-expression but also self-cultivation. The importance of lifelong learning. Buddhism teaches that growth is endless. True wisdom does not come from simply living long. It comes from continuously seeking new knowledge and experiences. Learning to adapt. Aging can bring new challenges, but those who embrace change thrive. For example, learning new technology helps stay connected with younger generations. Exploring different philosophies or religious perspectives broadens the mind. Traveling, even to local historical sites, brings a sense of discovery. Story: The 80-year-old who learned to code. At 80, a woman decided to learn programming to help her grandchildren with their projects. Many said she was too old, but within a year, she was creating websites for local charities. This proves that it's never too late to learn something new. Nurturing deep relationships. Loneliness is one of the biggest challenges of aging. Buddhist teachings emphasize interconnectedness. We are not meant to live in isolation. Practicing compassion and active listening. Buddhism teaches that true connection comes from listening without judgment. Strengthening relationships involves spending quality time with loved ones. Practicing forgiveness to let go of old grievances. Engaging in group activities to maintain social bonds. Story: The Silent Companion. An elderly man lived alone after his wife passed. Instead of shutting himself off, he visited a local meditation center every day, simply sitting in silence with others. Over time, he found that connection does not always require words, it requires presence. Strengthening family bonds through wisdom. Many aging individuals feel disconnected from their families, but relationships can always be healed and strengthened. Buddhist teachings on family harmony. Let go of expectations, instead of trying to control loved ones. Accept them as they are. Communicate with kindness and patience. Become the wise presence that the younger generation turns to. Story: The Grandfather Who Never Gave Advice. A wise grandfather never gave direct advice to his family. Instead, he shared stories and Buddhist parables. Over time, his children and grandchildren sought his wisdom because he never forced it upon them. Finding a purpose in later years. The happiest elders wake up with a reason to get out of bed. Buddhism teaches that life should always have meaning, regardless of age. Ways to cultivate purpose. Mentoring younger people, passing down knowledge. Engaging in volunteer work, helping others brings fulfillment. Setting personal spiritual or intellectual goals. Story: The Retired Teacher Who Became a Mentor. A retired teacher started tutoring orphaned children in her 70s. She found that purpose is not about big achievements but about making small, meaningful contributions. The power of gratitude in aging gracefully. Aging often comes with challenges, health concerns, loss of loved ones, and shifting life dynamics. However, Buddhism teaches that gratitude transforms suffering into peace. Rather than focusing on what is lost, shifting focus to what remains and what is gained can create an entirely new perspective on life. Buddhist teachings on gratitude. In Buddhism, gratitude is an essential practice because it cultivates contentment and reduces suffering. When people focus on what they lack, they create dissatisfaction, leading to unhappiness. However, by practicing gratitude, one can develop resilience, being thankful for life's lessons rather than resenting hardships. Reduce stress and anxiety. Gratitude shifts focus away from fear and toward appreciation. Strengthen relationships. Showing gratitude fosters deeper connections with family and friends. Daily gratitude practices. Morning gratitude meditation. Start each day by reflecting on 3 things you are grateful for. Gratitude letters. Writing letters of appreciation to loved ones strengthens relationships. Mindful gratitude walks, while walking. Observe small joys, the sunrise. Birds singing. A cool breeze. Story. The Old Monk and the Cup of Tea. A monk was once asked how he remained joyful despite old age and illness. He simply smiled and said, "Every morning, I thank this body for another day. When I drink my tea, I taste every drop with gratitude. There is no reason for suffering when there is appreciation." His wisdom teaches that a grateful heart finds joy in the simplest moments. The art of letting go. Finding inner peace in aging. One of the greatest sources of suffering in old age is clinging to youth. Past regrets, or even expectations from family and society. Buddhism teaches that attachment leads to suffering, while letting go leads to peace. The Buddhist perspective on impermanence. Buddhism's core principle is impermanence, anicca. Nothing stays the same, and everything is constantly changing. Accepting this reality leads to less fear of aging and death, seeing them as natural processes rather than tragedies. Freedom from regret, letting go of past mistakes rather than being trapped in guilt. A lighter, more peaceful existence. When one stops holding on to what should have been and embraces what is. Practices to cultivate detachment. Mindful reflection on impermanence. Observe how nature constantly changes and apply this lesson to life. Forgiveness rituals. Write down regrets or grudges. Then symbolically release them, e.g. burning the paper. Simplify your life. Let go of material possessions, expectations, or obligations that no longer serve you. Story. The Elderly Man and His Old Photos. An elderly man spent years reminiscing about his youth, feeling bitter about how life had changed. One day, a monk asked him, "Do you want to relive the past or enjoy the present?" Inspired by this, the man put away his old photos and started engaging in new experiences, realizing that true happiness is in embracing the now. Practicing loving kindness, metta, for a joyful life. In old age, loneliness and feelings of isolation can become overwhelming. However, Buddhism teaches that love and compassion are boundless. The more one gives, the more one receives. The Buddhist teaching of metta, loving kindness. Metta is a deep, unconditional love for all beings, not based on personal relationships but on universal compassion. By practicing loving kindness, one can replace loneliness with connection. By fostering relationships through kindness, reduce stress and anger. By cultivating inner peace instead of resentment, increase overall happiness, because love and goodwill create joy. Ways to cultivate metta in daily life. Metta meditation. Silently wish yourself and others happiness, peace, and freedom from suffering. Acts of service. Help someone in need, even in small ways, e.g. volunteering or mentoring. Speaking with kindness. Replace complaints with words of encouragement and understanding. Story. The woman who healed through kindness. A widow in her 80s felt isolated, believing she was no longer needed. One day, she started visiting hospitals to comfort lonely patients. Over time, she became known as the grandmother of the ward, proving that age does not limit one's ability to spread love.